Hey guys, it's Wahima, but just call me Wah. Melanated! Welcome to my recap of 90 Day Fiancé Before the 90 Days, Season 4, Episode 12. Oh no, 13. My thing is like, why is it not? Okay, I'll be back. Welcome to my recap of 90 Day Fiancé Before the 90 Days, Season 4, Episode 13. There was no title on my DVR for this episode, so let's jump right into this video. But before we do, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and share on any social media platform you deem fit. Alright, so the first couple that we're going to talk about is Geoffrey and Varya. So Geoffrey has gotten off of his long flight from Russia and he's been receiving text messages from Varya, but he has been ignoring them. As far as he's concerned, she said no, the relationship is over. He's ready to get married. He wants a partner. He wants to jump into another relationship right away. Listen, Geoffrey mentions that he could be a hermit. He could be a guy who's just alone staying in his house, but he doesn't want that. Personally, I don't think that he could be. It seems like he's had a series of relationships in his life and they've all not been successful. I think Geoffrey just really wants to be with somebody who's going to accept him for all of his crazy. And so him pretending like he could take it or leave it is really annoying. He gets back and his boys pick him up. They drive back to his house and he explains to them what happened with Varya, how she said no, not now, she wasn't ready for marriage, and how he said, well, then it's over. And that's the end of it. And the boys are just like, wow, that's crazy. We didn't think you would get married to her, but we also didn't think it would end up like this. So a few weeks later, Geoffrey goes on a date with Mary. Mary is the girl that we saw in the first couple of episodes who was like, why are you going to Russia to find love? Why am I not good enough? Because him and Mary have been dating on and off. Geoffrey finally decides that he's gonna come home and just settle for Mary. He's like, well, maybe the person that I was meant to be with who's ready for marriage has been right in front of me all along. And that sounds real cute in a romantic comedy, but in real life, that sounds like you're playing second fiddle. That sounds like a girl who's waiting around for some man to finally choose her, and I am not about that life at all. Now, if that's your love story, that is fine. But I think it's really damaging and bad that a lot of the fairy tales make women believe that all we have to do is just stick around and hopefully he'll love us. I just don't like that whole narrative. Mary went on the date with him and she did ask him like, yo, how do I know you're not talking to Varya anymore? And Geoffrey's like, I am not talking to her. She's continued to text message me telling me she loves me and she wants to be with me and that she would say yes to the proposal, but I'm just not with it. Like, I'm not with it. I went through a lot with her and I'm just, don't want to be with her. So Mary's like, okay, so they've been dating. And then cut to Varya in the airport, girl. Varya has gotten approved on her tourist visa and she decides that she is going to surprise Geoffrey at home. She chose not to tell him that she was coming because he's been ignoring her text messages. So she's thinking that there is a slight chance that he could say no, but this totally romantic gesture is going to win him back. She stays only one night at a hotel she gets because she's assuming that the rest of the time, whether or not Geoffrey is still mad at her or not, he still will allow her to stay with him. So she gets in a cab, she drives to his house. I mean, his neighborhood looks really beautiful. That land, that greenery, yeah, Tennessee is actually really beautiful. She gets there, she knocks on the door, she's so excited to see him. He is like blown away, with seeing her. And it just so happens that Mary is there at the house and it looks like that Varya and Mary get into a little altercation in next episode. So for the first time in this season's history, I am actually excited to see Geoffrey and Varya's segment next episode. Do you think Varya should have taken a hint? Yes. But if it were me and some guy had decided to propose to me and I said no, like, I think there would be some kind of conversation. Like, I get that he's upset with me, but I mean, I would still show up. I would still show up. So I'm not as mad at Varya. I think it added such such spice to the soup, I'm here for it. So the next couple that we're going to talk about, Ed and Rose. Alright, so in this segment, Rose has already gone, and Ed gets up and he's decided that he's gonna now go back to the hotel room and talk to her because he says that he's been waiting for love for 28 years and he thought that this was the one and this was true love, but it wasn't. So at this point, he's still blaming Rose for the reason why their relationship didn't work. He's not blaming himself. Like, he's like, I thought it was real love, but it wasn't. No. I think she would have loved you, but you kept insulting her. You kept embarrassing her. Like, you did it 3 different times and she forgave you each time. And the straw that broke the camel's back was that you didn't want kids. One party not wanting to have kids is a deal breaker. If somebody wants to have a child and that other person doesn't, there's no way you're gonna get over that. Wanting to have a child is not like wanting to buy a house with a blue door. You know what I'm saying? It's not something you're gonna compromise on. I just really think that Ed needs to take so much personal responsibility, and at this time he just isn't. So he goes back to the hotel room, he sees that all of her stuff is gone and he is upset, and he does that face where he like cries and he squeezes out a couple tears, and I'm just like, Ed gets on a plane to Manila, and from Manila he's gonna go back to San Diego. And as we see for the preview for next episode, his mother picks him up from the airport along with his dog Teddy. The next couple that we are going to talk about is Erica and Stephanie. Girl, so Stephanie, after her ridiculous blow up, goes back to Adelaide and gets a hotel because leaving to the States in a couple of days. And I don't know how she convinces Erica to do so, because if it were me, it would just be a video chat, truth be told. But somehow Stephanie convinces Erica, or they decide that they need to meet face to face. Erica drives 3 hours with a whole cat themed outfit, girl. She's got on cat earrings, she's got on pink leopard print onesie short set, and some white mod go-go boots. And I'm not mad at her. People are so mad about our little Lisa Frank friend, but like, I'm okay with Lisa. She gets to this cafe to meet with Stephanie, and Stephanie's like, thank you for coming. And Erica's like, say what you gotta say. And Stephanie's like, well, I'm just really sad at the way everything turned out. You know, I really did love you. Erica's like, first of all, you may say you love me, but first you need to check your behavior. You need to not come and visit somebody, especially when you know everything about them, and then judge them on the things that you know about them. Check your feelings at the airport, sis, because you wasted my time. And in the confessional where they have to sit next to each other, Erica's like, I don't even want to deal with this anymore. But because of the show, my friends, my family, everybody wants to know what's going on with us. And I have to keep explaining the situation over and over again. And it's hard for me. And Stephanie's like, well, it's hard for me too, because now I have to go home feeling feelings and I can't talk to anybody about the feelings that I'm feeling. And that sucks. And it's like, Stephanie, no. You have your friends you can talk to about this situation. Don't act like you're alone in this. You had Erica's whole family on this show for you to come over there and throw dishware at her and act a fool for information that you already knew about. She just waited to be there in front of Erica to be mad about the stuff that she has no right to be mad about. So Stephanie gets up and leaves Erica where she is. I'm like, you let this girl drive 3 hours so y'all could have a 30-minute conversation? If I were Erica, I'd be like, I'm gonna need gas money. Also, I hope Erica brought a friend so that a friend could be there with her. Maybe she's gonna hang out in Adelaide for a couple of hours, but girl, 3 hours away? That's like me driving to Vegas to have a 30-minute conversation and then drive back. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. If I'm going to Vegas, I better have got me a RuPaul's Drag Race live ticket. I need to go to karaoke. I need to play my Buffalo machine, my Britney Spears machine. You know what I'm saying? I need to have a whole 2 days because I'm not driving 3 hours away to have a 30-minute conversation. So Lisa Frank then gets home and is unpacking her bags, and she gets with her mom and tells her mom about all that's going on. And her mom is just like, you know what, Erica, you just have a really big heart. Don't worry about it. Move on. You'll be fine. And Erica's like, thanks, Mom. And they hug. And that's the end of their segment. All right, so the next couple that we are going to talk about is Yolanda and Williams. Okay, so we have Yolanda in her house that's finally furnished, and she's going to take her little dinky cup of coffee and her basic ass earrings and sit down and have this fake conversation with producers about how much she loves Williams and that she is talking to him again, but she hasn't brought up any of the concerning issues like the threats or him not being who he says he is, all that stuff, because she doesn't want to rock the boat. And when she finally does say, hey, just send me a picture of you, I know it's not you, he's like, well, how do I know you're not you? And so she takes a selfie right there and sends it to him, and he doesn't respond to her. So she's just looking at her text messages, reading them back to producers, and the producers are like, well, what are you gonna do now? And she's like, well, until I talk to him, these 7 months haven't been for nothing. I'm in love with him. I really just want to ask him for some truths about who he is. And we're just like, girl, why do you need him to tell you that he was lying to you all this time? You know how I know that Williams 100% is Nigerian? Because one of his text messages back to her was like, I didn't come here to quarrel. And the reason why I say I know that, because I have a friend who was dating a Nigerian man, and he said the exact same thing to her when they were in an argument. And she and I were dying. He was like, Naija, and she's American Naija. And so when he was like, I did not come here to quarrel with you. And she's gonna say, until I'm 100% sure that he deceived me, I'm gonna believe him. The magic of love is wonderful. I love the feeling of loving someone. My heart is telling me that I love him and to hear him out. So that's where we leave off with lying ass Yolanda. So the next couple that we're gonna talk about is Darcy and Tom. So we see a beautiful New York City skyline and we hear the music and I got excited because I was like, I'm about to see my girl Darcy. I'm so excited. And then they show us Tom. And Tom has a whole segment where he goes and meets with a friend and tells the friend about the situation. The friend completely calls him out on his bullshit and is like, you really did that? You really started talking to somebody else and then expected her to be okay with you? No. You sow seeds, you gotta reap what you sow, okay? You can't be running around acting crazy in this world these days, okay? And he's like, you're right. And Tom's friend is just like, yeah, man, you gotta move on, leave Darcy alone. Mistakes were made, things happen, it is what it is, but you also gotta grow up. You know what I'm saying? Time's a ticket. And so Tom's like, yeah, my friend, whatever his name is, really a straight shooter and tells me exactly what it is I need to do. And so I've decided that I'm, definitely going to go and see Shannon in Canada. So he gets ready. And while he's getting ready, he has on this black shirt that looks like it's plain, right? But if you look in the reflection of the closet door, it has got a silver skull almost covering the entire back, like bedazzled silver skull. And I'm just like, ugh. I'm so over Tom. So he just keeps saying over and over again that he has to do what he needs to do for himself. He's got to leave Darcy behind and that he needs to make decisions that are good for himself. Every time he sees Darcy, he's hopeful that she's going to be the person that he originally met, the Darcy he first knew, but that's not who it is. And so he's really, really quite sad about it. But he does need to move on and do what he needs to do for himself because he's Tom. And his heart has been broken and he's been through a lot with Darcy. And so he needs to do what he needs to do for himself. He needs to take care of number one. He says that like 4 or 5 times. And it's like, Tom, no one is on your side. No one thinks that you have put yourself out there and laid yourself bare and she's just trampled all over you. Like, no, Tom, you are the villain in this story. So then we cut to Darcy. He's doing skincare time with her daughters. And to me, Darcy, listen, she leans too much on her girls. Her girls are too young to know about all of her choices and mistakes when it comes to love. But at the same time, I feel like maybe they will make better choices based on their mother's failures, Not failures, but like, I think in the long run, they're going to make better choices because they watched their mom make the wrong move several times in a row. Let's move on to Lisa and Usman. Okay, when I tell y'all I don't like Lisa, like it's not even a little bit of like, this character is boring or this character is like too wishy-washy. Nah, I don't like the soul of this woman. Okay, from all the stuff that I've been hearing about Dr. Baby Girl Visa on the internet, in this show, she really is a despicable person. She might have some good sides that people see, but when that woman shows her behind, she shows her behind. She has no manners. I mean, she is worse than Angela Deem, Angela of Angela and Michael. I mean, she really, really is. The fact that she's called Usman the N-word, like, I just cannot. And it's so interesting, the disconnect between like the N-word for Americans in the US and Black people abroad, because like he should have stopped talking to her immediately. Like, people don't understand the wealth and the depth of that kind of language being used. My personal philosophy is if you say one slur, you say all slurs. And she went over to Nigeria and acted a plum ass fool over there. And I'm like, why would you want to be with somebody who isn't tolerant, who isn't open-minded, who isn't learned, who isn't worldly? Really, he wants to get to the US, and we see that. He says it several times that he really wants to get to the US. Like, we do see it. In the hotel room, she's on the phone trying to get a copy of her divorce license or divorce papers, and she ends up being able to do it. I'm glad that Susan was able to help her and fax it over. Do 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 do. Uzman and her decide they're gonna get ready and go out, and that she needs a little stress relief. And so they get to the place where they're having dinner, and Lisa comes at Uzman. She's like, can't even explain. You saw the episode. You saw how she was. This is editing while I'm editing the video right now, and I'm realizing I forgot a lot. And so here's one of those things. I check your cell phone. I've been doing this a lot longer than you, and if you think that you're gonna be some wannabe player, you got another thing coming. You need to do, okay, we're not getting married unless you go on your phone right now and clean up your Facebook, because I have been watching this little bee for the last year, and every time you say something about me, she gonna put a sad face. No, Uzman, that's not what's gonna go down. They're not gonna disrespect me. And Uzman's like, let me see it. So he reads it and he's like, look, when I talk to my fans, I talk to all of my fans the same way, okay? It's not because I love her. It's because she's my fan, she reached out to me, and Lisa's like, who do you think you are? And he's like, you are lucky to have me. And she's like, no, you are lucky to have me, okay? Because you're not as big as what you think you are. You're a local artist. I don't need you. And I was just like, oh, so the truth comes out. And he's like, okay, is that what you think, Lisa? So she gets up and walks away, and then he runs up after her and brings her back and tells her he's sorry, but she needs to calm down, and that he's not gonna deal with her yelling at him, and why should he say yes, or why should he propose to her if she's gonna be yelling at him every single day, and he doesn't even know if he wants to go to the US at this point. This is actually what he says in his confessionals. He doesn't actually say it to her. But girl, I feel that sentiment 100%. He's this close to getting his green card. He is this close to getting his green card, okay? So he's just like, I'm gonna do whatever I gotta do to get it. And I'm just like, at this point, you put in this work with this monster, you might as well get your green card. Yo, I almost died when Lisa's like, I have 1,000 men in the United States right now that I could be with. You absolutely do not, you lying liar. All right, you guys, so that's the end of this episode. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Let's have a kiki and a conversation in the comment section, girl. What did you guys think? And if you liked my video, go on ahead and give this video a thumbs up and share on any social media platforms you deem fit. This lip color is a Maybelline lip color. I know people are going to ask me. It's blue. It's called navy. I don't think they sell it anymore. It's like over 2 years old. Don't tell anybody I'm wearing like expired makeup. I don't be buying makeup like that no more. Don't forget to check out these videos right here. And remember to be you, be true, and find your place. Bye. Did I forget anyone? I think I did. Who did I forget? I really don't. Oh, Ash and Avery. Girl. Ash came out of the shower glistening, child, and I don't know if I'm ovulating, but I was like, what did he do the last couple of days? I don't quite remember what he did. So Ash and Avery end up having a really good conversation where Ash was, had a Snickers he had eaten, so his blood sugar was at the right place, so he was able to hear her. And he really did change his behavior around 180 to where Avery's comfortable staying the night with him. They had a really good session with Taj and Sion. Avery hasn't brought up anything about what she talked about with Sion. So Ash is nervous because he doesn't know what Sion and Avery have talked about. And so she's like, well, why didn't you tell me that you just got divorced a year ago? And he's like, well, okay, so the reason why I did it was X, Y, and Z. And she's like, yeah, you see, if you had said that to me in the beginning, I would have understood you. Like, don't be afraid to tell me the truth, okay? Don't be afraid about what the outcome is. Just tell me the truth. And he's like, you're right, you're right. I just didn't want you to think that, we were still trying to rekindle something, because we really aren't. And she said, that's exactly what Sion said. So like, it's fine. And then she brought up the issue with Taj, and he's like, yeah, I know that's how she feels. In his confessional, he says that in the beginning, Sion was okay with it. And the feelings has changed, which is fine. Her feelings are allowed to change. Avery understood the fact that he said he just wanted to be positive about it, and that there was a chance, and that she did seem amiable at some point. And so Avery's now really thinking about how she's going to maneuver this relationship with Ash, because now she can't just have him move to the US. So she says, How about we do a situation where you stay in the US for 3 months, and I imagine that's on a tourist visa, and then you go back and you're in Australia for the rest of the year. And he's like, actually, that's a really good idea. Like, I think I could do that. And thank you for coming up with that compromise. And they're just being adults now and talking through things. And I'm starting to really understand Ash a little bit more. He just had a moment. I mean, it was sad that that moment happened. But if Avery is able to forgive him, if they're able to have enough conversation and talk about their feelings in a way that works for the both of them, then I'm totally okay with it. And I see Ash backing down and stop acting like he's the one who knows how to do everything. And I think it's because he's a relationship coach that he feels like he's right. But I'm like, no, you can't do that. You have to let your partner be who they are, and you need to be who you are and find some way of, you know, meeting in the middle. And Avery's just feeling kind of bad about wanting to take Ash away from Taj, but at the same time, it's not really her job to discern that. Like, that's Ash's job to do that, you know? So, I mean, their segment was really good. It ended on a good note. She says that she's gonna really, really miss him. And girl, if I woke up to that body, and he's cute too, like, girl, I've been watching a lot of Indian movies, and like, not to say that Ash is Indian, but like, girl, he's giving me a lot of Indian tease, okay? And I'm just like, And then he was wearing tight pants like 2 scenes later, and I was just like, over it again. All right, this is the for real ending of this episode, okay? I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to check out these videos. And remember to be you, be true, and find your place. Bye. Jump in the line, rock your body on time. Okay, I believe you. Jump in the line, rock your body on time. Shake, 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 Sinora.